problem handling the Warriors. Dan Marley drives the baseline, and the Suns take game 1 by 27 points.
Well, we were smoked. We were just beaten in every facet of the game. We knew that we had matchup problems against this team, and they do what we do much better than we do. And they just proved that in game 1. But I think we can play better than we played, and I think we're still going to make a series out of this thing.
2 days ago, the Atlanta Hawks faced elimination as they battled the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 4. In wide-open fashion, they responded with a first-half onslaught that was overwhelming. The Hawks built a 15-point lead, and Buck fans felt like they were the team on the brink. But even with star Terry Cummings injured and out of the game, the Bucks fought back with character, patience, and tenacity. They chipped away at the lead and forced the game into overtime. But the Bucks fell just short of victory after coming so close. For the second straight year, these teams go eye to eye in Game 5. The Bucks refuse to be intimidated, and the Hawks will try to slam the door for the right to play Detroit. And CBS Sports welcomes you to Decision Day as the 1989 NBA playoffs continue from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Is in a cast. He is not here. Let's go to Dan Jiggets with Milwaukee coach Del Harris.
Del, what does it mean to lose Terry Cummings?
Well, we're going to have to keep out of foul trouble with just 10 guys. We're going to have to pick up a few points, but the main thing is that we've lost our best rebounder, and we're going to have to go out there, and everybody's going to have to pick up on the boards that rebounding intensity to make up for having lost such a good rebounder as Terry.
Okay, thank you very much, Del. Back to you, Brent.
All right, Dan, thank you. And Bill, some new lineups then for Milwaukee today.
Well, he might be thinking about Freddie Roberts rebounding, but I think the key to this club is the play of Ricky Pierce. He's got to step forward, the go-to man.
Let's take everybody back and quickly review the first 4 games. In Game 1, as expected, Atlanta a winner. It was 8 straight victories over Milwaukee. But then the shocker in Game 2. Ricky Pierce pouring in 20, and the Bucks were back. They went home for 2 dramatic overtime games. They moved within a victory of ousting Atlanta. But in Game 4, the Hawks showing their character, led by Moses Malone, they were able to come back. Now, what about the Hawks at number 5?
Well, Milwaukee executes so well. Michael Fratello spent yesterday 2 hours trying to push them out on the floor a little bit so that they'll miss their jump shots, and the Hawks can get going in the transition game.
Now, Bill, why do you pay attention for 82 regular season games? For the home court advantage in a playoff game. That's what the Hawks have going today. Coming up.
CBS Sports continuing coverage of the 1980
The starting lineup for the Bucks. Fred Roberts moves in and replaces the injured Terry Cummings for the Bucks, who are coached by Del Harris, his second season. Very successful year after replacing Don Nelson as head coach of Milwaukee. For the Atlanta Hawks, John Koncak made the big difference with this team, moving into the starting lineup during the month of April for Mike Fratello. He is part of the New Jersey coaching connection out of Hackensack, New Jersey. And the referees here today, as you would expect, a quality crew. Darrell Gerritsen, Earl Strom, and Paul Mahalik will work it. And, Bill, what should we look for here early in this game?
Well, tempo is sort of the key here. The Hawks want to get up and down. And obviously, Milwaukee will try and play more of a half-court game, get the ball to the right spots. They will take the opportunity break.
Dominique injured his neck in Game 4, not serious. In fact, there was a report in an Atlanta newspaper that he was having trouble talking. That's funny, he spoke to you and I for 15 minutes yesterday.
He said they're selling popcorn, aren't they, Bill? I'll be there.
The Hawks will look for a wide-open floor game. Try to get Dominique in early. The Bucks will try to slow it down. They would prefer half-court tempo. Roberts will draw Dominique early. The tap is controlled by the Bucks, and they will slowly come down now and set up their half-court offense. Jay Humphrey, a great addition to this franchise this year. Out of Colorado, he will set the table. The veteran Moncrief stolen by Moses, and Moses racing for Stobiak. Behind his back, lost control. Turned it over on the travel.
That must have been the glasses. The goggles got in his way. That's why coaches hate to see the big guys. They're liable to drop kick it at the end of a break.
Bucks come back down. Run that wheel. They go back to the friendly confines, and they'll take any edge they can get against Michael Jordan today.
Of course, a sound price happens to be the key for that club. Gets them into their offense, gets them some easy buckets, and, of course, a great open shooter opens up the inside.
Will Del Harris have Terry Cummings back in time if he wins here today to start the Detroit series?
He thought he would be back for the series. That's what he said. He's not so sure of the first game, but I don't think he's thinking of that now. Interesting to listen to him last night down here in Atlanta at Oglethorpe College, who is a coach, Garland Pinholster, who was, in a sense, his mentor. Now, that's a great name. He developed the wheel offense, and he's had the most to do with Del Harris's career, and he never met him until a year ago down here.
We're just underway. This is Game 5 in Atlanta. With Bill Raftery and Dan Jiggets, I'm Brent Musburger. Atlanta in the white uniform. Detroit watching and resting at home. Certainly key for Isaiah Thomas to get completely healthy, to get that time off.
Little trap. Now, the Hawks have handled the trap very well in this series. Now they're back straight up.
And Rivers short on the shot. Moses, though, doing what he does best.
Carves himself some area, keeps his eye on the ball beautifully. Doc trying to get it going for his club. Forced it a little bit.
Sigma coming around the circle. Roberts trying to come free. Moses on the switch takes Roberts. Stobiak missing. Rebound Atlanta. Moses doesn't see it, and Roberts will run it down. Moses turned the other way on the lead pass and never picked the ball up in time.
On a sense, Doc Rivers should have held on. So Moses did earlier in the open floor. He'll double on the baseline.
Here's Roberts giving it up, and another turnover, and now the Hawks give it right back.
In adjusting to the Bucks offense, you'll see some mismatches, and what makes the Bucks so tough, they take advantage. The double screen, now Sigma posts up, Roberts along the baseline. That's normally Cummings.
There is one statistic that is building against Milwaukee right now. Atlanta's out-rebounded them 6-2. The loss of Terry Cummings. Remember what Del Harris told Dan Jiggets a short time ago. We'll miss the rebounding. Sigma, the outside leader.
And the word you love, pick and pop. That's the Hawks' nemesis all during this series. Sigma getting out to the three-point area.
So you've heard of the pick and roll, but when Sigma took it up out there, it is called the pick and pop in the Milwaukee Buck terminology. Koncak is short, and Sigma will rebound. This is an impressive early start here by the Bucks. But the NBA game, especially a Game 5, tends to be more of a marathon than a sprint.
When the Hawks, I'm sorry, Brett, the Hawks have problems when they stand still. They've been doing that of late. That's how they're in the hole.
The bench strength is going to be very pivotal here today. Humphreys gives it back to Krzysztofiak, who tried to ship it in for an easy layup, and Reggie Theus, reacting very well, had cut down the passing lane from Fred Roberts, so they could not get an easy two against Fratello and the Hawks that time, an adjustment that Mike undoubtedly made during that timeout. Humphreys stepping inside is fouled, and he'll come up and shoot a pair.
One white, not. Got two. Daryl. Larry. Watching us.
Humphreys and Theus attending the same high school out in California. Theus a little bit older than Jay.
Really got to know one another in Vegas. Little side trip for Jay Humphreys on occasion.
You always go through Vegas on your way to Boulder, Colorado.
On the way to the rest of the world.
You get a discount on your fare back to school.
This fella has stepped in and done a great job. He's run the team with a two-guard mentality. That is a shooting guard. He's run the offense for Coach Harrod, and effectively.
So an impressive early lead in the first quarter by Milwaukee. struggling down here against the tenacious defense. And Wilkins gets it done, and that was an easy basket for Dominique.
Well, when you're standing still, you've got to look to penetrate. Dominique effective that way because he can then, as he's picked up, dish it off to the wing.
Sigma again out high, and Humphries uses him as a screen. Malone off with the defensive rebound, and Rivers brings it to the attack. Theus off the fake, comes baseline. Missing Roberts with a hand, but there's contact. A 7-footer coming back up, and he drew the foul, and he'll step to the free throw line for a pair. So we've got a timeout here in the Omni. The Milwaukee Bucks leading the Atlanta Hawks with 6:22 to go in the opening period.
Today's philosophy, drive him to the big guy. Here you see Sigma helping out. Krzysztofiak normally would come down, but they're going to keep him on contact. But even here, he stayed at home, was unable to seal him off. And the reason the Hawks were better at the end of the year is John Koncak's play.
Offensive rebounds, a big disparity, and Paul McKeskey, a 7-footer, checks in early for the Milwaukee Bucks. So one of the changes that Harris will employ here today, he'll use McKeskey early to see if he can get some rebounding. Yes, perhaps the best 6th man in the league, although Dennis Rodman begs to differ, and so does Thurl Bailey. Ricky Pierce has checked in for the Milwaukee Bucks. All three, of course, outstanding coming off the bench, and that's part of the Harris philosophy today.
And interesting, he said last night we don't want to foul, and at the same time he said we're going to play big and put McKeskey in. And I'm thinking to myself, Paul fouls in the shower on occasion. The big guy gets in the way.
He has a record in a 6-minute span once of a playoff game. He fouled out.
In warm-ups he can do it.
Well, he hasn't fouled anybody yet, Bill. He's down there against Koncak on offense. Ricky Pierce, of course, a marvelous shooter off the Milwaukee bench. Here's McKeskey. Jump hook, goes back after it, and Roberts has got it. Now Sigma, not this time, didn't have the good rotation on the ball, was not set up square, and Koncak away with the defensive rebound, looking for the foul on McKeskey.
They give a little slap.
Says, play on, no harm, no foul, let's go to work. Dominique off the glass.
Brent, did you see the move by Roberts? Great offensive use of the dribble.
Milwaukee may have a trouble with Dominique. He's off to an early start. That's when he can explode in your face. He's got 6 points already in this game. He's trailing Roberts right now. Pierce trying to get open and get into the offense. Roberts steps out, but down away from the ball. Strom will clean it up on the inside. Talking to Reggie Theus, and he had a little bit of an illegal defense as another 7-footer. Brewer checks in.
Well, that illegal D was due to Reggie Theus getting caught on the double screen. Dominique switched to Ricky Pierce. They will go to Pierce now with this mismatch if Theus happens to be on him, and they put Battle in for him now.
And here's John Battle from Rutgers, who played extremely well for the Atlanta Hawks in Game 4 up in the Bradley Center in Milwaukee the other night. Helped keep this series alive. So Brewer's out there with McKeskey. And Pierce's first shot is on the money for the Dukes.
Now they will ride him. 2 or 3 plays for Pierce.
Been a struggle for the Hawks. Moses bangs it in. No struggle there. That was brute force.
What set that up was John Kack with the high pick and roll, just sliced down the lane and drew the defense, drew the big guy.
And with Sigma out, Malone immediately exploits the Milwaukee defense. Now the Hawks playing very aggressively on this series. Pierce will come in, gets the high arc on that shot.
Battle played pretty good D. It didn't matter. Ricky can really light it up.
Now Koncak takes his game outside. And it's Milwaukee's rebound. Humphries still running the floor right now for Harris. Setting up the play. Milwaukee again wants to keep the tempo down. They do not want to get into an up and down game with the flying Atlanta Hawks.
Little curl play inside. Pierce posting up.
And it's Brewer outside. And McKeskey up over the back, his first personal.
Interesting how they've developed their great outside shooting through drills. The Knicks taught Del Harris something, he said, in terms of the three-point shot, and Lambeer as well in Detroit. They started doing some drills, and Krzysztofiak, McKeskey, and Sigma won those three-point drills. and that's when they became a better club.
Krzysztofiak for the University of Montana, building a home up in the Kalispell, Montana area, one of the loveliest parts of this country. He was born in Shelby, Montana. Boxing fans remember that town. Jack Dempsey, a big one in there way back when. Into Moses Malone now, and Krzysztofiak doubles. They go back to Wilkins.
Got to slide over the double team. That's the man nearest. The passer's man went down to help. They have to move a step and rotate.
Rivers knocks the ball out of bounds. Little one-man pressure defense back there. And so Brewer says, I'll take it off, and we'll get the ball into Humphrey's hands. Pierce stepping out from around a screen. Krzysztofiak trailing, gets it, tried to get Brewer. Moses anticipated it. Here comes Dominique. Through the foul. He'll come up to that free throw line, but there's the man on the flying trapeze when he gets that show going, folks.
Oh, he has a tremendous drop step to the middle of the floor. He'll do it on the baseline as well. But just great defense by Moses ignites this, and I'm a little upset that they fouled him. I just wanted to see a little excitement. Right at the man with that powerful drop.
1 of 82, they might not have. In Game 5, it's a wonder he didn't go to the hardwood.
Tell you, great competitor, though. Yesterday, as you mentioned, there was no question. You had to see a chiropractor today that he was going to play. He's so essential in terms of their flow, their open court game.
Bucks come back now. Atlanta's battled its way back into this one. Go to the trap. Kesky's open. Here's the offense on the floor for Milwaukee. That's a shot they can't give him. That's 3 field goals off the bench for Pierce.
Well, with the double up, or if you're running Kesky and then he draws a defense, then you're running a Pierce. He's going to bounce by you. You have to go at him under control.
You see Sigma up in the background. Del Harris will get him back into this action. Dominique is short this time. Krzysztofiak runs it down, and here's Humphreys. Rivers with Pierce.
Mismatch with Doc Rivers down below. Right away they go to it.
Contact is on Pierce, and they hit Brewer. And this is Krzysztofiak. A running left-hander is short, and Contact wrestles it away, and the Hawks come back. Wilkins in the middle, 3-on-2, and this time he is taken down.
Good clean play, NBA style, but you saw the smart play by Dominique Wilkins as he gave it up to Doc. Doc made sure he got it back to him for the finish.
So we've got a timeout at the 2:18 mark.
I think the key for both clubs during the series has been how they played the high pick and roll. Do they fight over the top? Do they string it out as you see Mokeski doing here? Now they trap it this time, but the cut by Contact draws Brewer, opens up a passing lane, and Moses can do what he's been doing for years. Finish it off.
Well, in this Game 5, Bill, the inside game for the Atlanta Hawks has all their points. They have not gotten a single point out of their guards so far in this game. Both Theus and Rivers looking for a point. They are 0 of 3 from the floor, and 9 of the 14 for Atlanta put up there by Wilkins. At the Milwaukee end, Roberts broke quickly with 6 points. He's still there. Sigma has 1-3. Humphreys has 4, and Pierce off the bench with 3 field goals. A 19-14 game. The Detroit Pistons undoubtedly watching this action up there. And again, when you're a young team like the New York Knicks, probably Rick Pitino would rather play and not sit and wait and like to keep the rhythm going. When you're an older team like the Pistons and you've got a couple of injuries, this plays into the Pistons' hands as they give Isaiah Thomas time to get that shoulder healed. He would have played had this series opened today, according to Coach Chuck Daly, but obviously he'll be even more healthy, and he is waiting for that bone in the left hand to get perfectly well, too, for the Pistons. So this works to their advantage as they watch this one, and Pierce bangs in another one. I'll tell you, that's too much daylight for him.
Oh, they're getting lost on the picks. Again, the execution and the reaction, not what Michael Fratello would like. Moses doing a better job of posting up. The other night he got pushed out too far. Wilkins
going to work, is fouled, and he'll shoot a pair of free throws.
If you're playing that low post and you can push the man out a little bit, it helps you in your trap. And Moses, Malone, and Antoine gave up a little bit, so the Hawks are trying to make them hold and maybe start from the point a little bit.
Now Randy Brewer sits down, so the Bucks will go a little smaller right now, and Spud Webb has checked in. So what the Hawks are going to try to do now is go up-tempo with Spud, their leader, on the floor. They're going to try to get Wilkins into an open floor game, but if they can. Now Milwaukee will try to keep the pace slowed down with Webb out here on the floor. Let's see how it goes. Ricky Green is out there, number 11, matched against Webb. And of course, a very quick man on the floor. Krzysztofiak missed everything. He's off his game so far. Here's Webb now looking to push it. John Battle on the floor, take it over Pierce. Krzysztofiak rebounding, and Krzysztofiak has not been able to find the offensive touchdown here. He's been like a blacksmith so far for him.
Oh, with Pierce ringing the bell so well, they should keep running his play.
Sigma with his second three, rings out. Battle with the rebound. Hawks trying to push it up. Bucks quickly retreat on defense. Now they'll punch to Malone. Sigma there, a smart defender, lets Malone get on the inside, and a foul is called.
How old is he? What a move! The youthful Moses Malone. Sigma left the luggage. Oh, great first step.
The Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. NBA playoffs on CBS. We'll have action coming your way every Saturday and Sunday now, the rest of the way. Moses Malone looks better, doesn't he? He lost 16 pounds this season down here in Atlanta. Why not? If Ted Turner's willing to pay you $2 million, get yourself in shape and stick around a while.
It took him a while, though, to get into the running game. His philosophy with Washington was to stand and not get down the floor, survey the court. Here, Michael Fratello had to talk to him about how they like to play, and he has reacted. They've improved.
Pierce is perfect, 4 of 4. Krzysztofiak struggling at 0 of 3 right now. Terry Cummings watching back in Milwaukee. They battle for it on the floor, and they've tied it up. Good hustle by the Hawks that time.
Brent, that time, Ricky Pierce on the open side of the floor. They feel they can take Reggie Theus with the dribble. That time, Reggie played defense like the Tark taught him at UNLV.
The dapper one, Reggie Theus. Probably misses Rush Street in Chicago. I know it misses him.
I'll tell you, I was a little embarrassed about him in the local paper saying he did his own wash. He said the other clubs he played for did it for him. I said, if you had known, would you have come to Atlanta? He said, no.
When you buy that expensive stuff, though, you prefer to iron it yourself.
Send it out, please. There's the double, and then the cut.
And Webb will take it from the perimeter. Loose, and Webb will get it back. Now he said, Mo, get on the inside in there. Let the little man get it to you. And he ships it in on a two-man game. There's the double again. Ricky quickly to help out. And now Theus rotates high.
The passing man, his defensive man doubled up. You've got to make perimeter shots. That's key, because if you don't, it puts a lot of pressure on your passing game.
A foul to give, Fratello has told him. As the seconds run down, they won't do it on the shot. Didn't need it. Livingston off with the rebound. And we come to the end of the first quarter of Game 5. A quick burst by Milwaukee is held off by Atlanta, and Fratello's bench battles back into it. They trail by 2, and we'll be right back. The winner moves on to take on the Detroit Pistons in the next round, and Mike Fratello over there on the sideline, Bill.
The dapper one, he and Chuck Daly, when they both started coaching, the only decision they had to make was who to borrow the clothes from. Now they bring 3 and 4 suits. They used to shop at Raoul's of Bayonne in the old days, but right now Michael has 5 or 6 ties, 2 or 3 suits for each game. Tough decision.
Biggest move he made was on defense today. Roberts started off with 3 quick field goals. Milwaukee 4 of 5. Since then they've been 5 of 14, and Pierce has 4 of the 5. Now we start the second quarter with Moses want to put it down. Battle for the rebound, Milwaukee's ball.
Not a bad move by Moses. They had trapped. You can beat that double up with a rotation with the bounce if you do it wisely and pick your shots.
Harris sticking with Green as long as Webb is out there. Krzysztofiak trying to get untracked, and he traveled. That's the 6th turnover by Milwaukee.
Krzysztofiak, one of your neighbors from Montana, terrific at shaping up in the 3-second lane against any size people. Of course, Carr with that body banged him out a little bit, caused the walk.
Theus gets it to Malone. Sigma there with a hand on him, trying to keep him on the outside, and there's the illegal defensive call.
Of course, Del Harris trying to time it. You don't like to go down and trap too early. It's easier to pick apart. As you get down in the shot clock sequence, it makes it a little more trying.
Lob from Malone, who was in behind Sigma. And a foul called underneath. That's the second on Sigma.
It's one of the few lobs you'll see. Jack fronting Sigma down low with Moses. He's been trying to body him out a little bit.
Antoine Carr, 35, on the floor for Atlanta. He's got it right now, banging off Kristoviak, gets daylight. And Roberts rebounding.
Bucks handle that cut down the middle by Theus beautifully that time.
This is a small lineup on the floor for Milwaukee right now. They'll really miss the rebounding of Cummings as Pierce is pounded by Theus and taken down. So the hot man takes the fall.
Actually, Reggie Theus didn't do a bad job. Got there late. That's a tough shot to make. That was almost a giveaway foul.
And Pierce has a few words with Theus. Theus was trying to explain how it came, and Pierce shook him off. So some bad blood brewing between those two.
I think Reggie Theus said, hey, I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. Right here, he really does hammer him. He got there a little bit late, but that's a tough catch and turn shot.
I think he got him on a follow-through with the forearm. Came accidentally through to get him in the face area. I think he was trying to nail that arm and make sure he didn't hit the field goal.
Brent, your point on Spud Webb, I thought he won the game the other night, pushing the ball up the floor in the second quarter for Atlanta. He really turns it up. Here's the trap.
Here's picking up Theus. Theus with a good spin move on the inside to force the shot.
They really react to the ball so well, the Bucks. You've got to penetrate, make a decision, and kick the basketball when you're picked up.
23-19.
Roberts got the mismatch.
Brewer, having replaced Sigma, is down on the inside, and Ricky Green takes one. So if he's going to hit that shot, they won't be able to leave him quite that free. As Livingston back down for the Hawks, rattles it in.
Open floor kind of player. He likes a fast flow, more effective that way.
Roberts out high. Missing. Malone off with the rebound. And it'll be Webb quickly applying some heat. Livingston again on Roberts. The Hawks have some quickness out there on the floor. Good defensive move by Kristoviak. Jumped into the passing lane. Webb tries to get it back. And Pierce goes down for another bruise.
You mentioned Kristoviak. Terrific reaction. And, of course, Spud on the kick-out pass. Pretty good attempt, just a little bit late.
Well, we've got a timeout here in the second quarter. The Bucks still clinging to that lead in Game 5 over the Hawks. Well, the winner of this series moves on to take on the Detroit Pistons. The date not known for the opener yet until they find out who wins that series between Cleveland and Chicago. Dan Jiggetts, you spoke with Detroit coach Chuck Daly. What did he have to say a short time ago?
Well, as you know, he's watching the game, and he said, hey, look, Isaiah's shoulder's improving. His hand is fine. It's coming along very well. They're going to practice at 4:30 today after they know who their opponent's going to be.
All right, Dan, thank you. Nice to have you along with us this afternoon.
Sure is. I want him on my side. Of course, Chuck, you mentioned the Pistons staying home resting. Is it good, or would they rather play? I think the only guy in that club that needs a rest is Chuck Daly. Shows and activities, he's all over.
Though it's Green out here with Roberts for the Bucks. Pierce along with Brewer and Mokeski. The Bucks come back big, and Roberts with his first field goal since that early start. Total of 8 points right now, and Milwaukee continuing to stay ahead. Their bench has outscored Atlanta's 12-2 in the game. Great pass by Concat.
Oh, pretty open court basketball. That's what they have to do more of. The isolation and the standstill offense, I think, hurts the Hawks.
Now watch this bump and grind offense that Milwaukee employs. Running down seconds on the 24-second shot clock. Whistle that time on the pass in. And on Battle, that is his first personal foul.
All those bumps, that's a little bit of their motion, and they'll curl and post up off that, particularly with Pierce.
So much of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, especially, becomes a half-court game. A little more free-flowing offense in the Western Conference. Brewer steps out on Koncak, and that's Kristoviak with an injured left hand. He has struggled so far. He is scoreless for the Bucks, so applying an ice pack over there. And again, the bench continuing to score for the Bucks. And it is Battle. Kraft, are you surprised that Dominique Wilkins is being given so much time off here?
Maybe the neck, but no, I think they're resting. But Moses played 47 minutes the other night, so both of them need a little bit of rest. Milwaukee playing a lot of people. You have to react the same way.
Green did not get the roll. Koncak coming away with the ball, and here are the Hawks.
Carr in the game now, he's a good passer if they double him up.
Faces Mokeski, has quickness on him, has to give it up, and they rotate to Webb. Milwaukee's ball. The Buck players are understanding their roles in this game so far, and that's what it has to be. There's more talent on that Atlanta roster. Milwaukee has some size on the bench. Great shooter in Pierce, who missed that time, but Green got it back. So the sum of this Milwaukee team is much greater than the individual parts.
Brent, I think the Hawks have the open floor talent. I'm not so sure they have the half-court talent.
Sometimes an open court team, Bill, can be a little impatient.
Exactly.
Gets back from the perimeter, and Battle bangs that one in.
You've got to respect Antoine Carr. He really sees things, does not turn the ball over much. On the trap, he'll spot people in their area. He knows where they can make the shots from.
Green takes it on the inside, gets it to Roberts, and Roberts will step up to the free throw line. Livingston's first personal. And Wilkins returns at the 6:55 mark. The Bucks continuing to lead, but only by 2, 29-27.
Schick, the official razor of the NBA, presents Close Shaves. Bill Walton of Portland squares off against Julius Erving of Philadelphia in the 1977 NBA Finals. Dr. J led the Sixers to victory in the first 2 games, but Walton inspires his teammates' comeback and equals a playoff record 8 block shots in Game 6, dominating the paint. The Blazers win a 2-point close shave victory, and Walton is named playoff MVP.
Who opened today against Seattle shot very well against Portland in the opening round. There were 5 first-round sweeps, the most ever, and Michael Jordan and the Bulls will go to a Game 5 today against Cleveland. Most of you will see that action coming your way later, and I'm sure you'll be able to check in on the Seattle-Los Angeles game.
We've been talking about the execution of the Bucks. They take advantage of mismatches. Reggie Theus on a switch ends up with Fred Roberts. They immediately go to him, and now the slide after the double up. Ricky Green, they exchange spots to the elbow, and now the indecision by the back line of the Hawk defense. Is it my turn to rotate, the 3-man, or is it the 4-man Carr? Livingston and Carr stay at home. Green nails the open jumper.
Atlanta has never led Milwaukee in this game. They were tied at 2 in the opening moments. The Bucks built a 9-point lead behind Roberts shooting early. And he steps to the free throw line for a pair. The Bucks leading it by 2. There was a huge disparity at the free throw line in number 4. The Hawks getting there much more frequently than the Bucks did, and Del Harris hoping that his team could stay away from reach-in fouls here in number 5 and avoid that. Contact coming out to meet Rivers, and here's Wilkins trying to get right into the flow of things, and he does off the bench. That's 13 for Dominique, his first hoop of the second period.
Well, in a sense, your half-court trap works when you get Dominique Wilkins to take the long jumper. Even though he made it, in effect, they got what they wanted.
They shift Brewer quickly to McKesky. Misfired over everything. And beautiful save that time by the Atlanta Hawks, and Battle coming back quickly with Carr. Here's Carr. We're rebounding. Frequently rebounding and free throws in a game 5. The shooting Dutchess can go because of the pressure defenses applied in this business when you get down to that decisive game. The veteran Sidney Moncrief that's while out of a great career.
Good job by Contact. Helped out on the pick and roll and recovered.
They're forcing a 24-second violation.
All John Contact. Great job stepping out.
Mokeski and Brewer sit down. Kristoviak and Sikma in, and it's the Bucks starting lineup now against the Hawks, who stick with Battle instead of Theus, and Carr is still out there on the floor instead of Malone. The 3 misfiring.
Roberts came out. Terrific reaction as they trapped on the box. He came all the way from the box area out to challenge the jump shot.
Roberts telling me before the game that he would try to change up on Wilkins. Dominique has too much quickness for me, but I will try to give him a different look each time down the floor. And here's Roberts. Contact off with the miss. Now it's Battle forcing one up, but he'll come up to the free throw line. As he was fouled, he was able to get the shot off. That's Humphrey's second personal foul, and Malone returns for the Hawks.
I really envy John Battle's ability to elevate on that jump shot. You saw the strength as he was whacked on the delivery, but he really can look up over the defense, hone in on the rim.
Trying to get the Hawks even here, and he misses the first one. We've seen some ugly shooting here the last couple of minutes.
John known for his shooting ability as well. Out of Rutgers, when Tom Young was the coach there. Late draft pick. Sensational story. His ability to make this club and last and get a long-term contract.
1-point lead. Kristoviak still looking for his first points, as is Moncrief. Sikma with only 1 3-pointer on the game. Not getting production from some of the big fellas right now. Battle called for the foul. He can't believe it.
Well, Jack Sikma is not passing the ball as well as he can. The mismatch was Sidney Moncrief on the box with John Battle. Even though he was held, Jack didn't get the ball. He hasn't been delivering it on the money.
Without Cummings, the Bucks cannot afford to go much longer without production from either Kristoviak or Sikma. They've got to have something from those two.
Big guys are staying at home on Jack Sikma without letting him pop, which the Bucks like to have him do.
Bucks conscious of Dominique at the other end. The whistle is blown. Now Humphreys has picked up his 3rd personal foul.
Now, we mentioned the ability to step up your game. Ricky Green now is going to get more minutes than he's used to. He has to perform. He's got good speed. They can push the ball a little bit more with him.
You look for the unknown star in the 5th game. Battle. Sikma had his Battle away from him, and Wilkins got it back to Battle, and here's Dominique. Dominique made that play by keeping it in play when he got a hand on the ball coming off the glass that time. Kristoviak on the penetration. Still won't go for him, but a great offensive putback by Sidney Moncrief.
Well, at Arkansas, he was a great inside player. Good post-up player in the NBA as well.
Alone on the turnaround.
So you're a baseball guy. I know you love the game. Del Harris gives false signals on the sideline to his team because the opponents know the reads. He tells them in timeouts what he wants. Here, an inadvertent turnover by Sidney Moncrief.
He probably would have made a great third base coach. gets into it. Dominique. Moses fouled on the rebound.
He's marvelous how he sets up shop, the drive, and then drawing the defense, the kick to Wilkins, but right away Moses Malone getting that weak side position. 9 out of 10 will come long, and he certainly knows that.
One player who has been rather quiet for the Bucks since he went hard to the floor is Ricky Pierce. After Theus took him down. Kicked away by Sigma. The Hawks looking to take their first lead of the afternoon. Malone out high to screen. And then rolls back up, and he gives the Hawks the lead.
Get to the goal. That's the secret in this game. You pick, be useful. Don't trip.
The Hawks get their first lead. Time running down in the first half. The winner moves on to Detroit. The loser picks up their golf club. Kristoviak still misfiring. Rivers. There's a 2. Milwaukee only one of its last 8. Booted it. Moses. Milwaukee needs a timeout.
The Omni, our score is the Bucks lead, Atlanta leads 40-35. We'll get you back to the game in a minute. Let us remind you that coming up on the Prudential at the Half, by now you know that this is the place to get caught up on all the playoff news, and we'll do just that for you. For example, Michael Jordan arrived just moments ago in Richfield, Ohio. Hello, Michael. We'll have that game for you later. And we'll talk live with one of the bad boys, Bill Laimbeer of the Detroit Pistons, and with one of this year's biggest surprise players on one of this year's biggest surprise teams, Kevin Johnson of the Phoenix Suns. All that and more at the Prudential at the Half. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Pat, thank you. Here it's 40-35, Bill.
And Moses like a new kid. Defensively, you were wondering what was happening with Jack Sikma. Moses up on his hip. A detail that they don't want him to go left. He's been trying to take that away, but he's been pressuring, playing both ends of the floor. We saw him offensive rebound. Just continuous motion. He's got a great heart, a tremendous competitor, guaranteed to win the other night, and playing like a champion today.
Sigma with only 1 3-pointer, and that came in the opening quarter. Kristoviak still scoreless for the game. Humphreys hasn't scored in the second quarter. He's on the bench with 3 fouls, and he was averaging 16 points against the Hawks. He's only 1 of 2 from the field. So the other starters for the Bucks not yet getting the job done. Now it's Pierce trying to get some shooting daylight, and Sigma on the outside. Contact stays with him. Jack comes back, threw the foul, and put it down. That's a big field goal for Sigma.
Oh. Now, you know Atlanta was ready for both Pierce and Sigma that time. They doubled up on Pearson, because Jack right here gets it put back, but the reaction is terrific. Really persevered. Pretty good reaction by Contact as well.
I remember Jack Sigma when he had the straightest hair in the league. Now he's got some of the prettiest curly locks.
And he's changed that whole offensive philosophy, I think. No more low post, all on the perimeter.
Time running down here in the first half. Battleships Contact, and Kristoviak took him down hard.
It's amazing. The Bucks run a half-court trap, and they get punished by it. It gets the Hawks into the flow a little bit, and it's hurt them. Of course, you love to change up defenses, but at some point, if it creates problems, you got to back it off.
That's what Koncak accomplished in the regular season and the playoffs. Of course, he was moved into the starting lineup when Cliff Livingston, in a very unselfish move, said he would come off the bench with the speed unit. And that put Koncak in alongside Moses Malone. And the Hawks, not a particularly big team, were able to play stronger at the rebounding end, which was very important for Coach Patella. So Ricky Green hits a big field goal here and keeps the Bucks right there.
Doc Rivers can't slide the pick.
Now Ricky Pierce off with the rebound. Roberts out ahead of him. Krzysztofiak on the right. Moses will come back right now. It's 5-on-4. Sigma didn't know he was coming, and here's Krzysztofiak still misfiring. Green will let it go out of bounds, and it's the Bucks ball with 57 seconds to go, and they trail it by a field goal.
Good job that time by Doc. Went over the top. Rivers.
Krzysztofiak pump fakes Koncak, and they'll offensive foul is the call. That is his third personal. It's been a nightmare for Mike Krzysztofiak today.
Because when you're making those post moves, the Hawks have people flying at you. You're going to have to find somebody. Don't force the issue. The miss starts their fast break, gets them into their flow.
Moses Malone couldn't put it back.
Mo, the old Moses Malone, but John Battle right now, the guy that's getting the basketball into the middle of things. A great look to John Koncak. Moses still persevering. Glasses knocked their eye. Just keeps going after it.
Malone yanked away 9 rebounds so far. Last shot time. 2-point lead by the Hawks. They once trailed by 9 in the early going of this game. Now it's a 4-point lead. Bucks will have to hurry. And a foul is called, and that is not a smart foul in that situation.
Oh, they were in bad shape. They had played Sigma well out by the 3-point line. Bucks were really struggling. It almost puts them on the, it just gives them an opportunity they don't deserve. You see the deny at the box.
Tony Brown checks in for the Bucks. And Brewer there. They'll take Sigma and Krzysztofiak out so that they don't pick up a stupid foul here in the last 5 seconds of the first half. The Bucks trail it by 4. They got a break as Ricky Green steps up to that free throw line. So with Humphrey struggling here, who knows, could wind up in Green's hands before it's over as the 22nd timeout is being called. Well, here's some of the veterans.
Almost our ages, huh? Of course, slowly Milwaukee has tried to bring in some young people. Greer is not playing today. Great prospect out of Iowa State. And you think of Kevin Willis being on this club, another youngster. But Moses Malone is playing like a 25-year-old right now. Chris Dudley Bradley doesn't see much action.
Well, live, Pat O'Brien will be talking to Bill Lambier and Kevin Johnson. With Lambier not practicing till 4:30 this afternoon, I'm somewhat surprised that he's not out hitting 1-irons about 300 yards.
They say he can do it. Who'd we run into?
Golfer.
Evan Big Cat Williams, the long drive champion, a couple of times. Lambier told you he can out-hit him. I'd like to see that
I
one.
might be able to get a little pull-up for that one.
He might out-talk Big Cat Williams. I don't know about out-hitting him.
All right, Green comes back. Made him pay. They press the ball. And they step out on that far sideline with 2 seconds to go, and now a 22nd. Quickly called by Milwaukee. So the Hawks not running out the clock very efficiently in this situation.
No, not at all. Now, at the end of the game the other night, Del Harris run a screen up by Sigma for a loop to the basket. Then they also ran a screen with a pop to the corner. So you might see a corner jumper or a lob to the goal.
I think I'd call Bernie Bickerstaff. Ask for one of his 1-second shots. That was some play, wasn't it?
Well, You like that team, man. You think they're...
I think they're the sleeper.
You're a big Derek McKee fan. Of course,
Yeah.
they got the deep threat in Dale Ellis, and Bernie teaches great defense, I think.
You know, they slumped this year, but remember, Bernie was not with the club for a while. He was sick and missed some games, and I just think they've got players who can come off the bench.
They do, and of course, I think he got sick in Milwaukee, if I'm not mistaken.
That's exactly right.
Fortunately, he's fine, as well as Seattle.
And the 2-second play, Roberts is open.
Oh.
He gets it done. The Milwaukee Bucks will go to the locker room on a high. They have tied the score. They break off the wheel for the field goal with Roberts. Bill, let's take another look at that.
Great use of the 22nd, the back screen and the loop to the goal. Remember Willis Reed doing this for Red Holzman years ago? Oh, looks like the Seattle playing.
Into the first half. We're tied at 44. Pat O'Brien coming back without the half after this message.
To tie the game up, he has 12 points on the day. Well, hope you're enjoying our doubleheader day here on CBS. After this game, some of you will see the Lakers and Seattle begin their Western Conference semifinal series, and most of you will go out to the Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, where the Bulls and the Cavs play a do-or-go-home Game 5. Let's see what's going on out there, and we'll begin in Ohio with Dick Stockton.
The one shining moment for the Cleveland Cavaliers occurred 13 years ago when Bill Fitch led the Cavs to the Eastern Conference Final in the NBA playoffs. Well, they hope to continue their playoff run this afternoon. In a little while, we'll be at the Coliseum here in Richfield, Ohio, for the 5th and deciding game of the Eastern Conference first-round battle between the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, it was exactly 1 year ago today that these two teams played a 5th and deciding game, and the Bulls won, but they won at Chicago Stadium, and today's game is played here in Richfield, and we'll see if the home court prevails. Unquestionably, the star of stars has been Michael Jordan, who has posted some very impressive numbers, and among those people impressed has been a Cleveland Cavalier who's a former teammate of Michael's at North Carolina.
I cannot comprehend how an individual can go out and play every basketball game like it's his last basketball game and continually just keep rising and rising and rising to another level. One-on-one, there's no player in this world that I would rather take than Michael Jordan, because he's the best one-on-one basketball player in the NBA, and there's no doubt about it in my mind.
And how much better can Michael Jordan play? Well, we'll find out. Hugh B. Brown will join me for the 5th and deciding game in a little while. Right now, with another series starting out west between the Lakers and the Sonics, let's join Greg Gumbel at the Forum. Greg?
Welcome to the Forum in Inglewood, California, where this afternoon, Game 1 will take place in the Western Conference semis between the Lakers and the Seattle Supersonics. Here in the video room in the Forum is where the Lakers prepare for upcoming opponents, and over the last 48 hours, they've been looking at the Seattle Supersonics. And when it comes to Game 1 in the Western Conference semis, the Lakers are all business. An average margin of victory, 17 points a game the last 4 years. What that means, Quinn Buckner, is that Pat Riley really prepares this team well.
He does a good job of it, but they do a good job. The Lakers went up to Portland, and they should have had a 2-game series. They only took overnight wear for one, and I think that says something. That's the message. Let's get the first game, and let's get it done right.
The Sonics come in here off the 4-game opening series victory of the Houston Rockets, but if you're looking for a tight Seattle Supersonic squad, you won't find them here.
We going back tomorrow? Yeah, I know. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Send money. I'm broke.
The X-Man looks like he's ready. As far as the injuries go, Dale Ellis suffered a broken nose against Houston, but he is ready. So is Sedale Threet, despite a slight thigh injury, and he's averaging close to 17 points a game. Coming up from the Forum in Inglewood, California, the Lakers and the Seattle Supersonics. Let's go back to New York and Pat O'Brien.
All right, Greg, gentlemen, thank you very much. When we come back here, we're going to talk to a couple of our viewers. One is waiting to see who he plays, and the other came off a big victory yesterday. Detroit's Bill Lambier and Kevin Johnson of the Suns step in to talk a little hoops as At the Half rolls on in playoff gear after a commercial and a word from your local station. 44-44. And welcome back to New York City, and it's time once again for a discussion of playoff basketball, otherwise known as Chat with Pat. And today from the Palace in Auburn Hills, a lonely Bill Lambier who must miss basketball. He hasn't played in close to a week. And from Phoenix, a happy Kevin Johnson, whose team is rolling along in the West. And gentlemen, thank you for joining us on At the Half.
Oh, no, my problem.
Bill, let me begin with you. You are waiting for Milwaukee or Atlanta. What do you think of the game right now so far?
Outstanding game right now. Milwaukee plays so smart. They never beat themselves. And Atlanta, every time Atlanta makes a mistake, Milwaukee will capitalize on it. And I anticipate a close game down at the end.
You had a little trouble with Milwaukee on the season. Would you rather have them or the Bucks or the Hawks?
Well, actually, we really don't care who we play. They're both very well qualified. But with Milwaukee's injury situation, we might get a little bit of break playing them, but, you know, it's going to be hard either way.
Speaking of injuries, turn you into a reporter here. How's Isaiah Thomas's shoulder and his hand?
Well, his hand's going to be the same way throughout the course of playoffs. You know, rest will only be the cure for that. But as far as his shoulder, he seems to be playing really well right now in practice. He's not thinking about it. He's going out there with the right attitude, and he's getting the job done, at least in practice.
What's the waiting doing? What do the bad boys do when you wait around? Do you eat snakes or lift weights, or what do you do?
Well, no, right now we're just kind of being patient. I think actually the layoff is going to help us in the long run for nagging injuries, little bumps and bruises. And I think just watching these games, hopefully they'll be tired out and we'll be ready to go from game one.
Bill, sit there for a minute. I want to bring in Kevin Johnson and the Phoenix Suns. You know, every year we have a new happening guard, a new team. Last year was Stockton and the Jazz. This year it seems to be Kevin Johnson and the Phoenix Suns. Kevin, why is Phoenix playing so well?
I think we really believe in ourselves. I think Cotton has done a great job in making us realize it doesn't take 2 or 3 years to be a legitimate contender, that it can happen this year if you only believe. And we pretty much took hold of that notion.
Well, you smoked them yesterday. You smoked Golden State yesterday by 27 points. Nelly, of course, is no dummy. What do you expect on Tuesday night?
He's definitely going to throw a few different things at us. I expect him to maybe to full court press us or half court trap us a little more than they did in the opening game, simply because we were just so effective at all the rotations and their substitution in game one.
Kevin, I think the country is just getting to know you. Can you compare yourself to a Magic and Isaiah or Jordan or a combination of all of them? How do you compare your style of play?
I like to push the ball up the court and really try to get my teammates involved. And I think I've learned a great deal from both Irvin Johnson and Isaiah. And the similarity I'd like to compare is with Irvin from the standpoint that he has a lot of rings on his finger. And that's our objective, is to get a ring.
Kevin, what do you think of Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boys of basketball out there? Would you like to see him in the finals?
I'd like to get there. It wouldn't matter who we were playing. If they're there, that's great. I understand they're taking on the Oakland Raider image. They're trying to be the bad boys, so it should be exciting.
Hey, Bill, everyone says you're going to be in the finals. Are you going to be there, and can you win?
Boy, everybody tells us we're going to be there, but we understand it's going to be a long road, and I believe that we are the best team in basketball. We had the best regular season record, and we have the depth and experience to get it done, so let's just go get it done.
Thank you both. Good luck to you both. Thanks for joining us on the Prudential at the Half, and thank you for watching our show this afternoon. Brett and Bill are next with the rest of the ball game. I'm Pat O'Brien. Enjoy the second half here on CBS.
Spoke with both coaches a short time ago. Let's start with Dan, who talked to Milwaukee coach Del Harris.
Del, you've got to be pleased with the way things have gone so far for you.
Big thing is, Dan, like we said at the outset, it's a rebound game. We're down on the rebounding, and if we can equalize that in the second half, I think that the rest of our game is all right.
What about Moses Malone? He seems to be very active, at least in the first half.
Well, that's Moses. I was with him 7 years, so it's no surprise. I'd like to see maybe a travel or a foul called maybe once this half. Would be nice.
Okay, thank you very much, Del.
Michael, the first half, I thought you handled the traps and the rotations very well.
Well, we passed the basketball against the half-court trap. Our problems, Billy, have been the missed foul shots, lack of converting on the fast break, and the fact that we've had some critical turnovers in key times. If the score is going to be a low-scoring game, every turnover becomes critical.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the Hawks were especially sloppy at the end of the first half, allowing Milwaukee to forge back into a tie. The key man, the man to focus on, is going to be Moses Malone. He has 9 of Atlanta's 25 rebounds. He is especially effective, as all fans of the NBA know, with an offensive rebound and a putback. And in a low-scoring, tight game, where pressure is going to mount in the fourth quarter, Moses Malone is going to be the critical man. How the Bucks keep him off the glass and how they attack down on the inside could well decide the outcome of this game. And the Hawks will bring it up on the attack.
Little quick show of the trap there, Brent, and then Del Harris backed it off.
Theus into Moses Malone, who goes for the layup.
He is prepared.
Now, here are the guys who must step up. Kristoviak scoreless. Not much production from the starting guards for the Atlanta Hawks. Sigma off balance, contact rebounding. Quick start here by the Hawks. Theus back to Dominique. He gets the roll.
Great look. And, of course, the cut at the end. Michael Machado trying to get his team to press a little bit. I can't get over Moses Malone. Great defense on Sigma last trip.
Humphrey struggling at the point. Number 24 can't get it done yet today. Now Sigma left open, and it won't stay down. But Sigma's got it back for the Bucks.